And we are live. Hello, good afternoon. It is Sunday, and we are back here again with Caregivers Embracing Elder Care. My name is Bahamia Ulysses, and I am one of your hosts, joined by my co-hosts, Sergeant Major and Robin Downs. How are you doing today?
Excellent, Bahamia. How are you doing?
Awesome, awesome. I'm so glad that we could come together again on Sunday and do what we do here for caregivers. For those of you who are new to our show, we just wanted to really bring together a forum for support for caregivers. And part of that is embracing the caregiver journey. So hence our name, Caregivers Embracing Elder Care. Most of our followers and our audience are really caring for their aging parents. So part of why we kind of come here together is not only to support your caregiving journey, but also to provide you with some tools, techniques, and resources to help you along the way. So as part of our fashion and our structure, I'm going to turn it over to Robin because she, in the beginning of every show, gives us a nice affirmation or meditation. I let it be up to your feeling of the moment, Robin, and I will hand it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Bahamia. All right, so wherever you are, just allowing this spine to be long, strong, and energized. So sitting upright, it allows the spine to act as an antenna, a receptor, tuning into a higher frequency or higher power. And as I keep telling Bahamia, with the change of season, for me, it's very important to stay in tune. So having that sense of alignment. Right palm on your heart, left palm on your lower belly, Dad. Mm-hmm. So inhale, let the belly swell like a balloon. And then exhale, slow it down, slowly pulling the belly button back towards the spine and up towards the heart. So slowly inhale through the nose, the belly swells like a balloon. Good. Exhaling slowly, pulling the belly button back towards the spine and up towards the heart. Going again, inhale, full belly breath. Exhale, squeezing the belly button back towards the spine and up towards the heart. Inhale, full belly breath, bringing in the maximum amount of oxygen, energy, life force. Exhale, pulling the belly button, letting go of everything you don't need, stale air, toxin, tension. Inhale, bringing in the maximum amount of oxygen, energy, life force. Exhale, releasing all negativity, everything you don't need. And let's just continue to breathe deeply, exhaling fully. Soften your face, soften your neck, soften your shoulders. Just allowing this time to cultivate a sense of ease, allowing yourself to connect with your breath. Allowing the sound of your breath to be calming to your nerves and soothing to your mind. Breathing deeply, exhaling fully. The affirmation for today is I am worthy of love and respect. So inhaling, just saying to yourself, I am worthy of love and respect. Exhale, releasing, letting go of any resistance to that affirmation. Once again, inhale, I am worthy of love and respect. Bring the palms together in front of the heart center one more time. I am worthy of love and respect. The spirit in me honors the spirit in you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Sergeant Major. That is always so calming. I think that's my favorite part of caregivers embracing elder care. And I think our viewers will find this equally as nice too, because, I think moving forward, we've kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit, but later on this week, we'll be announcing our Caregivers Masterclass. And part of the masterclass is incorporating yoga, meditation, and some of these affirmations that we've been using in the masterclass. So I hope that this is a shout out for that before we kind of continue on with the show. I figured we could do a little bit of housekeeping, that people will not only take this as a serious part of their caregiving journey, but sign up and tell other caregivers that are kind of going through the same thing. Or it doesn't matter if you're in the beginning of your caregiving journey, in the middle, or somewhere around. This meditation, these affirmations will help kind of lead you through those difficult moments. Isn't that right?
Yes, most definitely.
So today we're going to be talking about family planning. Amongst kind of caregiving and being a geriatric care manager, care planning is huge for me. I think that's what our whole, I'd say last, I want to say 4 or 5 true season or series has been about. But family planning is something that's near and dear, because I think people tend to forget that when you're caregiving for your aging parents, it's not just about you planning for their care. You have other people in what I call the caregiving circle. So when you are family planning, particularly if you are one of, let's say, more than 2 or 3 siblings, right? Family planning tends to be something that people don't think of as vital to the caregiving journey. But as you move along in your season, you realize that planning is going to be, or family planning, not just about your aging parents' situation, but how you as a family are going to come together is a big deal. So I'm going to ask you, Robin, just a few questions. I am going to put you on the spot just a little bit, because I'm curious to know what your family planning looks like, and even how it started. Like, what's your idea of family planning now versus when you started caregiving for your dad? It was 3 years ago, right? I think we had said about 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago. Why do I feel like giving you a joke? Family planning looks like this.
I know it. Yes.
What would I feel?
Plan, and then what happens? Life, right?
Well, you gotta, once again, find the joy in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Take it light.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of family dynamics that have been established growing up around people, a lot of different things that trigger people. So the best part I could say about family planning is put your own oxygen mask on first. Make sure your self-care, especially right now as we gear up for the holidays and start thinking, what are we going to do for Thanksgiving? What are we going to do for Christmas during this pandemic? Yeah. Can be a stressful situation. So all you could do to keep yourself calm, keep your loved one calm, Dad, we're going to figure it out.
Yep. You say, I'm going to figure it out. No, it's
figure it out.
Yeah.
Because already, my sister and I are talking, mm-hmm. and it's like, well, I don't feel like getting on the plane. You feel like getting on the plane. I don't feel like getting on the plane. You feel like driving. I don't feel like driving. Maybe we can meet halfway. Maybe we could. I don't know. Right. So this year in particular, family dynamics are, of course, going to be very, very challenging.
They are.
And already today, Sunday, Dad was like, okay, when are we socializing next? Right, yeah. Dad? Right. I know.
I love it. Yes.
Yes. So, and the holidays are known for a big time for socializing. With this pandemic, it's definitely a challenge. And, my father really wants that in-person type of camaraderie. So to be honest, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do this. Okay. Not sure. My sister's out of town, and the locals, some people are just like, no, I don't want to put your father at risk, with my kids,
Yeah.
I don't want to put, auntie at risk. So this is the most challenging time, just to be honest, and how we're going to work it out. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yes, and I think those of the people that are following us who join our masterclass and then later our mastermind, if they decide to, will get a kind of step-by-step hand-holding training and support in the process. Because I think why we decided to put something together for our caregivers is because we recognize how challenging it is and how new it is, and people really aren't. We're not all adjusting, just to be honest.
Yeah.
As much as we have tried our best to stay positive, and I think many people are doing a great job at that, there are a lot of people who have had some serious challenges, and no two situations are the same. And they, aside from maybe not even feeling like getting together, there are some real challenges around getting together.
Yeah.
So today I wanted to offer a few things, just some tips that I have used with my caregiver clients and their families that really do help. Number one, I think I'm going to speak to what you just said, Robin, in terms of not knowing. This is family planning, but not having a plan is almost like having a plan, right? Going with the flow, because I think around the holidays in general, people tend to kind of get worked up around things being perfect. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Robin, but things kind of have to be lined up in a certain way, especially as hosts. Sometime, if you are the host for family gatherings, you tend to have another layer of added stress. So what I want to say to caregivers just in general, before we even get deep into my tips, is going with the flow is going to be key this season, because really what I want to make sure that everybody understands is the more stress that we apply to trying to figure things out, it has a negative effect on our health in general, our ability to have a strong immune system, our ability to cope with certain things. And we hear all of the talk, all of the news and things about having second waves and having flu seasons and things of that nature. So not everybody is on the same page in how to deal with it and how they're going to accept or expect certain things to happen. So going with the flow right now could not have been a better term. I think I might call fall of 2020 going with the flow, because it is okay if you can't all get together. It is okay if you have a Zoom family dinner. It is okay to be able to say, guys, I would only want maybe 5 people here who have been tested for COVID prior to sitting down with us. So I know everybody's sensitive around this topic because family is big. I think if you're caring for your aging parents, you really do understand the dedication and that family tie and how important it is. So I just want to say that out the gate, if you don't have a plan, don't feel any kind of way about it. Let us help guide you through that. But in the meantime, sit tight. Don't make it as the end all and be all because for whatever reason, things didn't go our way. It's not going anybody's way, I don't think. So my first tip is to have some kind of a structure around what your boundaries are. Boundaries are always big in caregiving. Robin, have you thought about anything kind of like, a rule-like or boundary-driven that would help or even prevent you from getting together as a family?
Ooh.
I'm putting her in the hot seat, folks.
Well, I was trying to think because the main person is my sister. She's out of state. Yes. And otherwise, it's been challenging to gather the family. So there's actually no boundary. We're trying to open the gate and be like, where and how can we gather?
Right.
So I'm not feeling boundaries. If anything, once again, Sergeant Major is looking to embrace.
Right. And socialize.
So there's no boundary. I may have to, I remind Sergeant Major all the time, and I know he gets tired of hearing like, Dad, there's a pandemic and people don't want to come out the house and we have to be careful. Yeah. And I know how frustrating it is, right, Dad?
Right.
Yeah, I know he wants to socialize. So right now we can't say we have any boundaries.
Bring them all in. Well,
because people are giving us their boundaries.
right. Okay.
We don't even have boundaries.
Good
Oh,
point.
no, please. Dad's like, please, please.
Come on in. Sergeant Major, I told you, we're going to have a big old party. We are just going to have a big old party when things are said and done. But I guess my question would be then would you feel, or did you feel in any way put off or offended by people saying, hey, some people say, I've heard that they'd like to have everybody tested prior, a day or two or whatever, prior to actually getting together as a family. They will still do things like business as usual, family as usual, but everybody must have a negative test before they get together.
And that's interesting. As Dad was saying earlier, we haven't really been invited where that's an issue. And personally, just the whole test thing, I'm a little leery of. Have you been tested, Bahamia?
I have. I've tested several times. So remember, I've done all the tests, and there are some that are more enjoyable than others. I will say that, and I can understand why people may feel, I guess, on both sides of the aisle, good or not good about it. But I do still, I'm still in the community. I still see a few patients as well as caregivers. So as part of a precaution and really being responsible, I get tested almost weekly. And because, you don't want to overexpose yourself, and there are still people that need my help in the community. So I get it. I've done the rapid testing. I've done the test where your nasal swab. I've done the mouth testing. It's a lot. And so that's why I was curious. That's my big question has that come up? Because I have been.
That hasn't for us, but thank you for letting us know that you're out there getting tested and everything. And I like for Sergeant Major to hear that, because I think sometimes he's just like, what? Put on a mask. What's the problem?
Yes.
But, Bahamia is letting us know that it's a real issue out there, and she gets tested once a week because she's out in the community. And we haven't gotten tested. Maybe that's my boundary.
Understood. Well, no, and that's it. That's exactly it, Robin. That's exactly it. And I'm glad that you brought it up. I'm glad we've talked about it, because it is real. And I think people have a very strong feeling about being forced or strongly encouraged to do the testing when they haven't been symptomatic. They've been isolating pretty much like you and Sergeant Major. You guys have been really good at self-isolating. And many people feel that might even going to the testing center or clinics might even expose them to right. So let's just be real. That's really what it is. And I think that there are pros and cons, of course. There's another school of thought that I've had other clients who have told me that they just have decided to do nothing about testing, but everybody's going to be wearing masks. So that's an option. I think that whatever way you guys want to kind of do it, or they'll check temps at the door and everybody will wear masks just like you would in the community. And I know it seems so odd, and I know it seems so strange. It does. It does. And I think to many people it's extreme. And then the other side of the aisle is there are people who unfortunately have succumbed to this pandemic. They have many family members, many coworkers. I can tell you from experience, people I've worked in the hospital with who really were in good health or seemingly in good health, who have succumbed to this pandemic. So it's real. There's no game, right? But we want to make sure that we are respecting each other, and we are still doing our best to really bring together their family in a way that hasn't been done in several months. So I will say, tip number one is, of course, be safe, but be mindful of people's boundaries. Be mindful of your family members choosing not to, or choosing to get together in a new manner, in a new way. I know. Robin.
That's a lot.
I understand. And that's, I guess, tip number one. If that's going to be probably the greatest one, is because I think even within, so right now you all may not know, but I'm off location, right? I'm in Florida visiting my grandmother, and the sun, I guess, just decided to go down out of nowhere. But one of the things that we did was, as soon as I got to Florida, was, go straight to, they have the Rush Clinic where you get tested and done within 2.5 hours or 3 hours, because I eagerly, desperately wanted to see her. But like you, Robin, didn't want to put her in any way of harm's way. And, they're near and dear to me, but we are now kind of trying to figure out what we're going to do for Christmas. So family planning generally is more so about kind of the what ifs. But I think in this season, we kind of already know what we're dealing with. We're just at the point of logistics, right? So the next tip that I have is having a family meeting. I know people kind of, depending on how big your family is, it's hard to get everybody together. So if it's a Zoom call, if it's whatever, a phone call, a conference call, having a family meeting so that everybody can get some kind of input or say on how they feel, on what they want to kind of happen. Maybe, someone used to cook and do all these things, and now because of challenges or things that have happened, there are work constraints, there are people who are not working, there are financial issues. So sometimes people, depending on where you are and what your family kind of culture is like, these conversations aren't as open, right? But I think in this space and time, we really need to be on the same page. So the aunt who used to always have and host your dinners may have an issue about doing that this year for whatever reason. So I call it the check-in. When you have a family meeting, it's not so much about you do this and you do that and pointing fingers or whatever responsibilities need to be held. It's more about checking in to say, hey, are you still okay with making that potato salad? Or are you still okay with, making sure dad is all ready to go and driving up? Just asking. I think that communication line really still has to be open. Robin, would you say your communication with your sister around what you might want to do is something that has helped you? I mean, do you feel like, or go ahead.
Well, as I listen to you,
Mhm.
I like the idea of the meeting beforehand. And right now I'm thinking, let me put the first booking in for a Zoom call. So in case everybody starts thinking about it, let me, put a time together for Thanksgiving and Christmas. To at least have that on the schedule, and people have something, once again, for my father, he likes to have something to look forward to.
Yes.
Or like, what are we doing for Thanksgiving? Right. Yeah. I know, right. What are we doing? And at least maybe I could say a Zoom call. But yeah, I got to see what else we could do to figure that out. I know you want to see people in person, and that's where Bahami is saying it's going to be a lot different this year with the pandemic. And I have to start planning now because everybody is being so cautious.
Yes.
So like I said, the last conversation I had with my sister is maybe we'll drive and meet halfway at some location, and all of that is a bit stressful. What location? How?
Where and who?
Do we have to quarantine for a little bit before?
Yes.
And do we have to test before we meet up? All of this is just making me feel like, let me just schedule a Zoom. But then on the other hand, I know my father likes to socialize in person. So what is that happy medium?
Very good point. And I think you almost teed me up for my last tip, which was plan early. This is family planning. That's what the discussion is about. But I was just now having a conversation with my aunts. We're like, okay, do we rent a tent for outside? Or are we going to do it like a cookout style? I mean, it's Florida, so we might be fine, right?
Right.
Weather, but that might not be the case for someone living in Idaho. That might be the case for someone living in Boston, where I'm originally from. I'm in New York, right? It might not be the case. So that
outside with the heating lamp.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So what is the option, right? So planning early, figuring out, I think, even with gifts, even with things that you would normally kind of wait till the last minute for or just kind of overlook, it really is going to take some advanced planning. And yes, Robin,
I was just thinking about how it's going to be for, I'll just say, the regular shoppers out there.
Yes.
If Black Friday
Yes.
was crazy, I guess it'll be on the internet kind of.
It will.
Yeah.
Cyber Monday. And it might be one of the biggest, just, off subject, but one of the biggest Cyber Monday retail days ever. Right?
Do Cyber Friday.
I think so. It may
Black Friday.
It might
Cyber Friday. Anyway, yeah, I know they're figuring that all out.
Yes.
Ooh.
Thing I want to say, even just in planning, is a big part of what I've been talking to a lot of my clients about is employment, or some of them are still working, some of them are retired, yes, but other people do have, just because a lot of who I work with are part of the sandwich generation, where you are caring for your aging parents, but you do have to work, you do have children, maybe not young children, but children that still need you, that are in school or maybe at home schooling, whatever the situation is. But really just even with your employer, if there are certain expectations that they had before or don't have, you really want to check in with them, because I think that we're kind of thinking past what's going on and not really realizing that maybe you might have more time off than you realize. Some people really, I know, for example, people who are out of the office aren't necessarily going back until after the new year. So what I have suggested with a couple of my caregivers is that if they can get on a plane, if they really want to go see their parents or travel, if you can get on before that week, before the week of Christmas, where there are going to be less people traveling, this is a very, very good option for you at this point, because you want to basically limit exposure. As much exposure as you can limit is going to be the best thing at this space. And, traveling the 2 or 3 days before Christmas or the 2 or 3 days before Thanksgiving isn't really going to be ideal. I'll put it that way. So planning in advance, starting from now, and if you are kind of still, not sure about what that's going to look like for you, I really do invite you to join our masterclass. Robin and I will be making our announcement on Wednesday about dates and all of the specifics. But I just want to kind of put that out there, because we really do want to help all of the caregivers who are in a season of just uncertainty along with the rest of the world. But we do recognize that you have to do this. You still have to show up as a caregiver. You still have to show up as the daughter or son, and that part hasn't changed, and it won't. So we want to make sure that we can support you in the best way that we can. Robin, is there anything that you wanted to say in terms of just caregiving as a daughter and looking at what this season is going to look like for you in the next couple months?
What I'd like to say is that I'm really excited about the masterclass. I'm really excited about providing this support system, because I know I need it.
Mm-hmm.
So in the masterclass, mastermind, getting people together to help solve these issues is a beautiful thing.
It is. Sergeant Major, I just wanted to ask you if you would be supportive if, let's say, you don't have a big family dinner this year. Will you be okay with having like a Zoom call or people around, but not as many people?
I'm a little confused right now, but my daughter takes care of things good. So whatever she plans, I'm going to do it.
I love that, Sergeant Major. I love that. That's perfect. And that's a part of going with the flow, right? Just trusting and knowing that things are going to get better. We do have to get past this season in a way that gives us all of what we need, but we're just going to have to work things out a little differently this time. And we're here to support you. So is there anything else that I missed before? I know we're kind of gearing towards that half an hour mark, and I hate to keep anyone past the time. Go ahead.
I so appreciate you, Bahamia.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. And I think, just even the sense of a fall flow,
yes,
feels right. So I appreciate that.
And resetting, I think that's something that you've been talking about even throughout the last month, really, when we kind of switched over to the Facebook platform. And this was something that you had introduced to me about I never really thought about kind of resetting what it is that we've been doing throughout the year. And this is the perfect time for that because
fall is just great in terms of it being a sense of a new year, a new chapter, a new season. And right now, just, cleaning out the old stuff and bringing out, especially on the East Coast, you bring out the winter stuff.
Yeah.
And so definitely that sense. And with all of that, go with the flow with all of that, because sometimes that can be overwhelming in and of itself, that whole transitional time. And when you feel yourself in alignment, that's the big word I like to use. Just being in alignment with the season. And once you feel yourself in alignment, to keep going with that flow.
Awesome. We are going to go with the flow. I love that, Robin. We're going to align ourselves and go with the flow. I love it. So I think that brings us to the end of our show. We are right on time, and I'm so excited for our masterclass announcement this week. Everyone stay tuned. Robin and I and Sergeant Major will be back just to kind of give you some details and tidbits and answer any questions. As usual, if you do have any questions about what we talked about today or things that you want us to talk about in the future, we are here to support you. We want to hear them. Either you can direct message myself or Robin. You can post it in our Facebook group. Join our Facebook group, Caregivers Embracing Elder Care. And we will be happy to have you. And also tell a caregiver friend if they are having some issues, if they're struggling, if they need a little bit of support, let them know there's a home for them. With that, I guess I'll say goodbye to you all. I hate to do it, but
and we figured something like what? Embrace yourself.
Embrace yourself.
Embrace an elder.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful week. And we will be back a little while. Probably, we said Wednesday, right, Robin?
Yes, we did.
Absolutely. All right. We will see you soon and enjoy this beautiful day.
You too. Bye.